Today on Gamer's Couch,
Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards. To Red Mount Skullfire.
hello.
I brought the grey hair and the
Kind of grey beard.
the progressingly grey beard come out soonish to this little wizard gathering. Not that gathering, just normal wizard gathering, because we're going to duel to the death at Mount Skullfire.
Which is a wonderful vacation spot for wizards.
Right here.
Right here. You gotta go there one point.
Most important play piece in this entire game is the actual Mount Skullfire. That will be the centerpiece of your life and death. And
Afterlife.
more death coming after.
Who knows?
Depending how often you play this game.
Welcome to the couch. Happy Sunday to you. I'm Sarah, the artist behind Pinselgeschichten, and this lovely wizard here is my husband, Daniel. And we're talking epic spell wars today, as we already announced in the opener. In the opener. It comes before.
I thought you were.
You never watch our videos.
As we announced last week. No, we didn't. No.
So we talk at length about board games. If you see the playlist, you know what I mean. We start off with gameplay and rules. That's his part. He's going to explain all there is to know about the game. And then we talk about what we liked or maybe not liked about the game. Ending the video with funny stories and experiences that we had. And let me tell you up front, this is a funny game.
Yeah, and let me tell you up front, this is not necessarily a kid's game.
Yeah.
It has a comic art, but it has some pretty brutal imagery. So
yeah, just offending, you know.
Well,
in certain kinds of ways, maybe not. Well,
yeah, there's certainly stuff in here, and again, parental advisory. The game is fun. But there are cards on there that show heads getting split, and it's all in a very Adventure Time-like comic art style, which almost seems hyper-realistic. You'll get to see a couple of cards, so Sarah doesn't have to frantically search for an example.
No, I'm checking what the box or the game says when is the appropriate age.
It's probably on that box that's on the back side.
Yeah, I wonder, because I never checked.
Let's do this. So it says this game is for children age 15 plus.
Okay, so there you have it. You maybe have to wait a few years.
Or if you're not a child but still 15, works as well.
So for you,
if you're kind of a clone, grew up in a vat tank or something like that. So, as long as you're 15, you're good.
15 centimeters?
Oh, well, it didn't say, so...
No, age is just a number. Come on, start with how this game is played and what the rules of this funny game is.
With cards. He or she who dies last wins. That's the game. No, there's
how do you live and how do you die?
It's a bit more complicated, but not by much. As the title kind of spoils for everybody, it'll be a death match at Mount Skullfire, and for that reason you will choose and pick to be one of these illustrious, magical, proficient kind of wizards, like Hawks the House, who's too busy eating the cow and leaves the wizardry over to the small wizard he carries around in his big wizard staff thing. Or you could be Krastar, the Bloodmancer.
Bloodomancer. Read correctly.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I have a
15-year-olds should be able to read.
No, I have a black O weakness with my eyes. You could be Pister, the Pissed Wizard, and I'm pretty sure Pissed. I hope at least for him that it refers to beer. Or you could be Jung, the Spirit Master, or Jung. Whatever you want to call him. Or
That was the German lesson of the day.
Zanzibart or Zanzibart, the Slack Genie. Or Lady Laserver. Or Laserver of the Space Kingdom. Or Princess Holiday and her Furycorn. Or Faye Ficklebottom, the Enchanter. It has no effect which of those you will play, other than they have nice artwork coming with that. They all start at 20 hit points and will cast spells to eliminate all the other wizards until they're, well, the last wizard standing, in order to win these beautiful last wizard standing tokens. Once you get enough of them, you win the game. So you kind of agree upfront how many rounds you want to play, and usually it's something like best out of 3, or whoever wins 2 of those wins the game, something like that. So how do you cast spells? Well, there's a beautiful deck of cards available, and you will draw up to 8 cards at the beginning of your turn and use these to cast spells. The cards look like this. There's basically 3 types of cards that you can play in a spell. There's a source, that's the beginning of the spell, and you can see that these 3 together kind of frame a complete spell. So sources are always the beginning of the spell, shown by the yellow lines here, making the left side of the frame, but they also show a small S source down here. The middle part is called the quality, and the finisher is called the delivery. The delivery is a bit or a tad bit special from all the other cards, because these also include a number on here which is called initiative, and pretty much the higher your initiative number, the earlier your spell fires. So what will happen is, from your 8 cards that you have on hand, you make a very educated choice which one or which spell you want to play. Pick those cards, mix and match, and then wait till everybody else has done that and announce how many cards your spell will have. So you can play a full spell of 3 cards, but it's perfectly legit to play just 1 card, or play 2 cards, as long as they're in a legal combination. I'll go into that soon enough. Then whoever played the least cards in a spell goes first. So if you have a 1-card spell, you will go before anybody else. And I mentioned initiative. If you play a card that does not have initiative number, so if you play a source or a quality card, it's assumed that your initiative is always 0. However, if you just play the delivery card, you still get the initiative that's listed on here. So if I played the Meteor Swarm, then I would still have the initiative of 20 and would go before everybody who played more cards than me. After that is decided, you will reveal your cards, arrange them in a legal way, and read in a very imposing wizardry voice which kind of spell you're going to play. So in my case, I would have played these 3. That would be Typhoon's Delicious Meteor Swarm, which kind of makes sense with all those little chicken legs being thrown at someone to death, because it's meteor. You get the joke.
I think it's a chloride chicken that was used.
Well, whatever chicken it was, it certainly got some medicine in there that causes diarrhea at the same time. So, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there is a tad bit graphic, these cards, but that's kind of the point of the game. Once you've played your spell, you resolve from beginning to end. So you go with the source first, resolve all text that's on here. This one says, deal 3 damage to each foe who already acted this round. So actually I want to play this one last to have the biggest impact on everybody else. Afterwards the quality goes, this one says, foes with an odd number of hit points each take 1 damage for each different glyph in your spell. keep the word glyph in mind. We'll get to that right now. The last one is the delivery, and this is a bit different from the other card in terms of this mentions a target, in this case each of your stronger foes, and a roll power task to do. So roll power refers to those glyphs I mentioned with this card. Each card has a little icon down here, and these three all have the little fire icon in here. There's 4 more of these in the entire game, being dark magic, illusion magic, arcane magic, and primal magic, or black, blue, pinkish, purple, and green. Whenever you come across a card that refers to a glyph, count these little icons, and that's the number of glyphs you have. Some cards refer to them saying for each different glyph in your spell. So if you play 3 different colors, you get the number 3 out of that. The roll power thing works the other way around. You count how many of the glyphs of this card that says roll power you have in your spell. In my case, that's 3. That means I will roll 3 dice that come with the game, and then see what number I have rolled down here. So you just add up the dice. In this case, if I roll a 10 or higher, I would deal 4 damage to each of my stronger foes. And these cards are also treated card by card. So it could be that I had a stronger foe when I played the spell, but that the first card lowered his hit points below mine, and then I don't have a stronger foe. And if you don't have a target, then the spell just fizzles away, and you get on with your ineptitude of playing cards and making spells, I guess. There's a 4th card, or a 4th version of a spell card, that's the Wild Magic card, which actually has no glyph and just says use this card in place of any card in a spell. So the way that works is you can play a spell with a Wild Magic card if you, for example, don't have a quality or don't have a source, and you will draw cards from the deck until you draw the first matching type, which would be a quality, for example, and then replace the Wild Magic card with that card, making things a little bit more, well, wild and random. You can technically play a spell that is illegal, for example, one that consists of 2 sorcerers, or you could even play a spell that consists of 5 cards instead of 3. However, if you do so, you have to discard every card that is illegal until you have a spell that is legal. So let's say I have played something with 2 source cards, 3 quality cards, and 1 delivery card. I would have to throw away at least that many source and quality cards until I have a full spell again, or until I am happy with the spell I have. The reason you can do that is quite often in the game it will appear to you that the deck is against you and the heart of the cards is showing you the magical middle finger, and you try to figure out how to get the darn source card that you been waiting for 8 turns. So that's a way to discard cards from your hand, because at the start of the next round you will always draw up to 8 cards. So if you want, you could technically play an 8 card spell. Obviously you would go last with that one because...
But it's an epic spell.
Yeah. Other than that, obviously you're not allowed to lie about your the number of cards. So even if you have if you play 5 cards and you just can legally play 2 out of those 5, that's doesn't count as a 2-card spell. So you pay for getting rid of not so useful cards with the fact that you probably will go last in that round. As soon as you destroyed the health of a wizard, he's out of the game, and he will start drawing these dead wizard cards. This is a catch-up mechanic for people who die early in the game. The game itself is already pretty random, but if you have nasty people sitting at the table who really dislike that one washing machine that beeps off in the kitchen right now.
It's the dishwasher, not the washing machine.
I'm sorry, yeah, the dishwasher. And try to kill the dishwasher right
First.
away. Everybody's ganking on them. That is kind of a way to limit it or prevent that. Once you die, you draw one of these cards, and for every turn that you're dead, you draw another one of these. Now, to be frank, most of them are not that useful. For example, this one says, Nectar of Nirvana. You're dead. Live with it. So that doesn't help at all. But there are other cards, like the Afterlife Artifact, that says, at the start of the next game, gain your treasure. So there's cards in here that enhance your life, maybe give you another card, give you a special card like a reserved wild magic card to help you out. And while talking about that, we heard the last type of cards that are in here, and these are treasure cards. Treasure cards are something you usually earn from specific types of spells. The arcane ones usually yield, I think, I think the arcane or illusion ones are usually the ones that yield treasures. So a treasure looks like this. You grab them, and for example, this creepy old wizard dude found Lady Luck's panties. And these panties give you, whenever you roll only one die, add 2 to your roll, which is pretty good for those power rolls. There's other stuff like the Crown of the Meek that says each dark card cast by a foe deals 1 damage to that foe before the card's effect resolves, which is also pretty good. So you can see that the more of these you gather, the more powerful you become among a round of the game. You get rid of them once you determine who's the last wizard standing, but as you've seen, those dead wizard cards might have you draw new ones for your next turn or give you an edge over the other wizards. That's pretty much the game. The only thing maybe worth mentioning is the types of spells that you find in here. So Typhoon has elemental damage. Typically, elemental damage is just pure brute force that will deal a lot of damage, usually to multiple targets, probably explosive, and be really, really bad for everyone. And the dark magic type refers usually to necromancy or similar stuff. In terms of gameplay effects, this kind of always tries to hurt yourself, or at least has a chance of hurting yourself and blowing up in your face. And there's the illusion card, for example, this Walker Time Ranger. Illusion cards are, I think, mostly have to do with die rolls as well. So this one says, add 1 to your roll for each different glyph in your spell, deal 3 damage to the lowest rollers, and everybody has to roll a die. There's arcane ones and the ones that fall to the ground. But Professor Presto is more concerned with gaining of treasure cards and making you more powerful. And last but not least, the green primal spells are probably mostly healing spells, or these are the only ones that have heal properties. Although you may come across a primal spell that is a giant snake that will just choke the wizards to your left and right to death. Might happen. But that's a pretty good overview, and the only other rule that's in this game is you must announce your spell in a wacky wizardry voice, and yeah, that's it.
Ta-da! So that was quick, huh? Didn't expect that. Or maybe you did, who knows. So we're going off into our next section here, likes and dislikes.
Coffee for me, it's also called.
While I start, let me show you the lid of the box. You might see that it's quite worn. Oh, okay. It's quite used a lot.
What bad production quality.
So, like that. We got to repair. So you know how often we played this.
It's our fault.
We got the game for about 1.5 years now, I think. Am I correct?
I think we had this for quite some time longer.
2 years? No, we bought that around the time that Jim came to visit first, which is 2 years ago.
I don't I honestly don't remember.
Well,
So-
I'm not surprised.
So I know we got this game or right around the time when we got the Penny Arcade deck building games, which we haven't talked about yet. But this is from the same company. It's from Cryptozoic.
Yeah, that would be 2.5 years ago, because we moved here and I got them from Customs here.
Oh, was it here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because I was very happy how Customs handled things here in comparison to the city that we lived in before. So that's why I remember I was so surprised that. So it would be 2.5 years. So you know how often we played that game? Quite often. With other boxes that we play quite often, that it looks similar after a while. Because you handle things. So, we really, really like this game. And we bring it out whenever we need an opener, like waiting for people to arrive at a gaming night. And we just want to play something quick, something funny to get us into the mood. And just let normal life and daily routine behind us and get into the spirit of a gaming night. We bring this out just to have a good old laugh at the table. And people in our various kinds of gaming groups really, really like it. We didn't play it with my parents, and that's just because, it's kind of offensive. So
It's also language.
Yeah, language too. So we didn't play it with them. But I think with pretty much any other gaming group, we played this game at one point at least. And everybody really had fun with it. It either being with the game mechanics, and or the language and offensive stuff, and or the artwork. So I really like that people, though they're kind of scared first, just like with Cards Against Humanity, they're like, oh my gosh. But after like 5 minutes, they're totally into it and really make the spells sound as dirty as can be, just with the way they present it. So love that factor about the game, that it brings out that part in people. So coming to the quality and the artwork style and everything, this game is gorgeous. I mean, I wonder sometimes what the writers and or just one person, I don't know how many writers were there at the game, and the artists took before they decided what to put on the cards. Because for one, the name of the spells is amazing. There's just tiny, funny stuff, things.
It's puns.
It's puns all over, but not in like too Captain Obvious, but they're sometimes quite subtle. And you really, just with the artwork on the spell or on the card, you really grasp what actually is meant by those weirdly written words down there, and then you have a laugh. So I really wonder what they took, what kind of, I don't know, herb or drug or whatever, to get into the mindset to produce something like that, or if their brains are just wonderfully weird anyways. So the artwork really complements the spells, the words, and the puns are not too cheap. Actually, this happens quite a lot. People sit there choosing their spell and everybody's giggling just because of the stuff they have on their hands. So they are having fun even before the fight goes off and you see if you win or maybe not. So this game is actually funny, though you might be out of the game quite early and you die quickly as a wizard. So you have fun while maybe not winning. I mean, that's a good thing for a game when you can enjoy it so much, though you're dead in like 5 rounds, which could happen a lot. And another nice fact is that you can play it with 2 or you can play it with 5, and
you can actually play. I checked that while you were talking, and it doesn't explicitly, or at least I didn't find anything that says how many players. It comes with 8 hero cards, so I think technically there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to play it with 8, since there's no real, well, there's a turn order, but everybody plays their cards at the same time, and then stuff resolves, and
And things aren't different. I really like that it's just as quick and as fun with 5 people as it is with 2 people. So other games sometimes have a sweet spot. This game's sweet spot is existence. So there's just nothing that holds you back in terms of I've got 3 people at the table, am I going to bring it out or not? So that's a good thing too. And other than that, it's just a weird, lovely game. There's kind of strategy in there. You got to think which spell you want to play and how many cards you might want to have in the first round in comparison to the 5th round. But that's all. Other than that, it's just pure enjoyment, and I really, really like that in a goofy, offensive game. So yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Well, one thing I have to say, it is, while it is offensive in terms of gory, I think the back of the box. Actually, let me read this to you because we are professional and we can read from boxes.
But read right this time. All the O's, please.
For example, and this goes in the same humor thing. The back of the box here says, "Rip your opponents a new one with insane spell combos," and "rip" obviously written as "rest in peace." And this also says, "Attention, contains spicy language and extreme cartoon violence," and this is pretty true. I'd say this, for me, this game is borderline party game.
Yeah.
It's you don't play this game to win this game. It's by definition it's a take that game, but yeah, this is more fun about making amazing spells, and quite often you might end up with playing a card because it sounds hilarious instead of playing a card because it's the tactical correct choice in that moment. And if you do, then I'm sorry that you lost your capacity for humor, but yeah, this
if you even had some.
I mean, this don't go in this and expect that you might even know in the faintest who might win this game, because yeah, as I said, it is very random, and that randomness not only comes from having what cards do you have on hand or what cards make sense, it comes from the cards themselves, because suddenly your targets could change during your spell in unforeseen ways, or it is really hard to keep track of that to make a really informed decision. And if you try to do that, I think it's to the detriment of the game, so it becomes less fun. It is called Epic Spell Wars for a reason, so just go out and incinerate your table foes, dishwashers, whatever you deem correct.
Customs people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not all of them. Some need to get our shipments through, but yeah.
One is enough.
Also this.
Just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why? Just for the fun of it.
It's an important piece for
the most
game.
important piece.
The most important, yeah.
Yeah. So, anything to add, or do you want to rate?
No, that's fine. For the artwork, there is, I think there's a blog post on the Cryptozoic site that goes a bit more in depth.
In depth? Or in depth?
Depth.
I just understood depth. And I was like, what?
Yeah, that's what I have to work with. But
one point we gotta use sign language.
Huh?
Go on, sorry.
You'll find a blog post that talks more about the art style, how they found people who made that, and what inspired them, which is an interesting read going forward. And you may also notice that they have an expansion plan for this that is, I think, still in coming soon phase. So yeah, I while there's other games that might have hit the table more than this one overall, we've played this quite frequently, as Sarah said, so I'm pretty sure we'll go with the expansion and maybe then talk about that as well.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
No, not yes. Do it. Do your rating. You're searching for the word, so I'm starting. Because, well, it always greatness needs time. Or what was that sentence? Anyways, on my personal scale of 1 to awesome, this is awesome. So solid 10, because it does all the things that I expect a game in that section of board games to do. So I'm expecting fun. I'm expecting, as he said, borderline party game. I'm expecting it to succeed in that range, and it does that for me every time that we have it on the table. And just a little extra and totally unimportant information: I'm always Princess Holiday with a Fury Corn. Rating? Oh, okay. I have to talk a bit because he's still searching for his rating. So let me take this point in time to ask you if you ever played that, and maybe you want to let us know in the comment section below if you had fun with this game in case you played it, because I'm really curious if you did play it ever, if you had a chance. And now, drum roll for the rating of the greatest wizard husband of all time.
Pew and Pew's prickly testicle. I rest my case.
If you own it, put the game, put the spell together, and then you can see what he means. Anyways, we're going into the next and final section of this video, which is funny stories and experiences.
You said we're going, so I thought... Yeah.
Don't take everything I say literally.
Please continue. We're professional now.
Since when are you? 5 minutes ago? Anyways, funny stories and experiences. Well, it's always nice to put this game on a gable, or on a gable. Gable is the English pronunciation of what in Germany is called Gabel, which English translation is a fork. So, or Clark Gable.
I'm sorry, Gable.
What the?
Gable is nothing. It's...
No, it's just the pronunciation. Give me the Gable and the Messer. German lesson of the day. On the table, I meant to say table. So whenever we put that game on the table...
Table?
Shut it, honey, please. I'm trying to keep it together.
Keep them coming, Mabel.
Syrup. So, where was I? Oh yeah, whenever we put this game on the table, when people are around that never have played it, and you have this moment, you explain how the game works, and they're quite, not going all in at the first round of the spells. They play maybe a 1 spell card or maybe a 2 spell card, and then see what us as the having this game played for a while, starting with the full 3 spells in there and going all in, and then you see in their eyes after the first round, okay, this is how it goes, and the next round they go in full 3 card spell and really going in with the voice and starting to enjoy the game. I love that moment when people realize, okay, it's not about winning with this game, it's about enjoying, because we never say that before to people.
We never say anything.
We just bring it out and we say, this is fun and this is how it goes, let's just play. People can't grasp through the camera. I'm sorry, you can't play that.
No, I think the reason why people tend to play fewer cards is more because
they want to go first.
No, I think that the source quality and delivery mechanic is sometimes at first, I don't want to say hard to grasp, but it is confusing for someone who's never played something.
Yeah, or
like
well, for example, there's two ways to determine which kind of cards you have in your hand. There's, for one, the letters S, Q, and D, and then there is the different kind of color border, yellow, orange, red. And I go with the colors, for example, but other people can't really put that together. They gotta go with the letters, and I think that's a bit. Well, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it needs 2 rounds till people are very comfortable with putting the spells together, and that there is no right or wrong, pretty much, but just fun, I'd say. So maybe that's that. But I really like that moment when you can see it in a new player's eyes that they got it, and then as soon as the next round of spells is put down, you can see that how much they enjoy playing the game. I really, really like that moment. And we had it every time that we played it so far. And as I already said, we played it with lots and lots of different kinds of people. And every time you got that one moment in the new player's eyes. And I'm pretty much just waiting for that whenever we play with new people who don't know the game. So every time. And other than that, here's another fun fact, and that's actually an advantage for us being German or non-native English speakers. We have an accent. Everybody does.
But?
And when people say those spells not only with a booming voice of a wizard, but also with a French accent or Norwegian, Polish, German, whatever non-English accent, it's hilarious, for one, and it makes for extra laughs at the table.
This is neu für mich.
I just love it. I laugh so hard at the table whenever we play this game. It's just awesome. Do you remember any particularly funny experiences with it, other than overall fun?
Not one in particular. One of the things I like about this game is more the practicality of having. You can start an evening of playing games with this, and as people come in, they can just grab cards and you pretend they died the first round. So that is another thing that's nice about this. If you're waiting for the group to assemble, you can do so without having to have someone wait at the table for very long, which is really nice.
Yeah, you don't have to make conversation and talk, actually. No. But you can just play, which is, I love it. And as I said, it's a perfect game for that, or it's a perfect game when you come to a gaming group and you don't really know all the people all that well. Because you're just meeting up with them. Like, for example, last year after Essen, we had a gaming weekend in the house, and we vlogged about that, so just check on the channel if you want to know more about that. But we didn't know all the people that were coming, and you can put that game on the table and
offend everybody right away.
Like, have all the
let's get this out of the
you don't have that out of the way. You don't have to be politically correct and maybe not offend somebody for 10 to 15 minutes because you play this game and you set the bar for the rest of the weekend rather low, and you can determine what kind of humor the other people have, and you loosen up better easier, and you just somehow it makes meeting new people way easier. Meteor swarm
meeting
new people way easier or simpler and funnier if you put that game on the table. So I like it for these kinds of occasions when if you're kind of socially awkward sometimes. And I'm not talking from experience. No. You just put that game on the table and all bets are off. You just enjoy. And then after the game, everything's good. You know the other one well enough because you just killed him twice at the mountain. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Okay? So let's wrap this wizard up.
So I've got a 3 card.
I've got a 1 card. So I go first.
So mine is impatient. I go first.
He's always with the impatient cards.
YouTubers! Subscribing, like. Goodbye. And I lied, there's no impatient in there. But she didn't notice. Haha, goodbye. Or
I
watch
love
other
this
videos.
man. I love this man. It's awesome. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this very silly but very enjoyable, at least for me, video. If you feel like commenting in the section down below if you either have played this game or just want to throw some words at us. They don't have to be spelled. We're not at war. No, don't throw the. You pick them up.
If you want to throw words at us.
I'm sorry. I want to know 2 things. For on the short term, have you played this game? Did you enjoy it just as we did, and still, you know?
If not, go back, play it until you enjoy it, and then come back.
On the long run, on long-term question, because this is something that I've been thinking about for quite a while now, but I didn't bring it up with you yet, and I don't know how and when I should even think about maybe handling something like this, but would you guys even be interested in watching a Let's Play or a watching along while we play kind of video? Because honestly, it takes a lot to prepare these kinds of videos and edit them and all of that. And I don't want to go into that unless you guys have interest in seeing these kinds of videos once in a while. So let us know in the comment section below if that would be something you would be interested in seeing. If that is something that we should start thinking about at one point. And other than that, as he already said, YouTube, share, like, subscribe, have fun, have a good Sunday, and we're gonna talk to you next week on the Gamers Couch. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.